Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Onshape. Today we're going to take our assembly, that selfie stick, and we're going to create a assembly drawing, and we're also going to create a bill of materials. Now, I have my selfie stick here, and I'm going to go over on the right side, and I see there are some different options. The one on the top is a BOM table. BOM stands for Bill of Materials. If I open that up, you'll see that I have some parts here. They do have descriptions for each of these parts that I've added in. But we're going to look at how we would do this for the individual pieces and how we're going to get these descriptions and how we could add in some of this information. So I see as I move through here, it is highlighting objects on the selfie stick. I see the first one here highlights that thumb pin. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and I'm going to double click on the thumb pin. When I double click on it, what it'll do is it should highlight it over here, and I can double click on the part, and it's going to load that part into the workspace. So I can see the part here, I can see grayed out the assembly, so I could edit this part as I'm in it. I would be able to see over here the browser that lets me see the different objects and how things were done. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some information to this. So I'm going to come down here. Now mine says thumb screw, yours may say part 1 or part 2. But if I right click on this, I'm going to go to properties and it's going to give me some options. Now it shows me the name is thumb screw. Well, thumb screw is not correct. We want this to be thumb screw. And I'm going to add a description, which is just going to be thumb screw. And it's going to be thumb screw because that's going to be where I'm going to actually see the title of my part. And I'm going to give it a part number. I'm just going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. And I can add in some other information in here if I want, but for right now, I'm just going to do the name and part number. I'm going to click apply. So it's going to apply these properties to that thumb screw. Up here, I have assembly 1 displayed, so it's still showing me the entire assembly, just with that highlighted piece being the thumb screw. And I'm going to say create version, go to assembly. So it's going to update the thumb screw, and we're going to go back into the assembly. Well, we don't see the assembly seems that different. I do notice up here it says thumb screw instead of just part. And when I come over to the bill of materials, I'm going to see that it's now inserted that part number and the description, thumb screw. Now the quantity is telling me how many times this part exists in the assembly. So it only exists once, as do all the parts, so that quantity is accurate. I also see the item number. This is in what order they occurred and what order they were put into the assembly. So all of these are there to give us an ordered value. And then of course we again have that part number and the description. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this again so we just have the assembly. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to open up our drawing. So I'm going to go create a drawing. I'm going to choose the template that we've created earlier and click OK. So when I come into the drawing, it's going to say Part Studio, but it says no parts available. Well, in order to get that selfie stick in here, I'm going to need to create an assembly. And I find the assemblies here, and I want to go over and place my drawing. So I'll click and I'll let it load. It will take a moment with assemblies. And this looks a bit different than what we want to see. Well, I'm going to go ahead and hit escape. You'll notice that the assembly is in a bit of a weird view whenever we created it. So I'm going to double click on this picture. It's going to bring up my properties. Currently I'm in the front view. I'm just going to choose a different view, in this case isometric, and we'll see what that looks like. Well, it looks like it may be correct, but it's far too large, so I'm going to change my scale to a 1 to 3. And it looks like it shrunk it down appropriately. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my drawing here, and we're going to move it up into view. And I'm going to put it up in the top right for now. So I have my selfie stick. You can see the entire part or entire assembly now. But what I want to be able to do is see every part that was used in this assembly. And I'm going to do that with my bill of materials list. I want to come back up here, and I see the BOM table. I'm going to click this, and it's going to give me some options. And it's going to start loading. That's because I can choose where I place this table. I'll place it here, and what it will do is it should load in everything that we had in the bill of materials here in just a moment. And here we are. Now notice it has extended down some. I'm going to grab just here on the corner and pull that up. And we may take some time to have to adjust this into the correct position so that we know it's where we want it. Now I have the selfie stick drawing where I can see each individual part that was added.